Hey, what's going on, people? Welcome back to the Ardhi Real Estate Podcast. Today we have a very special guest. We actually did a podcast before and something happened, and so we're going to do it again. But this podcast is going to be super informational because it's all about NACA, straight from a NACA agent who has closed hundreds of NACA properties, which to me is unbelievable and crazy and amazing because, well, we'll get into it, but this is definitely the person that you want to hear from as far as NACA, and he has also trains other people on the NACA program, and so you guys are going to learn a lot. But before we get into it, let's introduce everybody. We have Miranda. Woo.
Hi, everybody. It's Miranda Wilson. Miranda Wilson, 4 underscores on Instagram. Make sure you follow me.
Woo! And we have one of our newest additions to the Ardhi Real Estate Brokerage. G, what's up?
Hello, world. My name is George Rowley, but you can call me G, Realtor G, underscore at Instagram.
Hey. And our special guest. Tell them who you are.
Hey, everyone. This is Jerome Washington. I'm a real estate broker for NACA. I'm in New Jersey, PA, and Delaware. Got a lot of experience, a lot of information to share. I'm a big NACA enthusiast. I just want to spread the good word and promote home ownership.
Awesome. So let's get right into it. So give us your background, where you're from, and then give us like your professional background, how you got into NACA, and we'll go from there.
Yes, definitely from the Philadelphia area. And right now reside in New Jersey. Been over in Jersey for about 15 years now. And definitely in regards to my career in real estate, that started in around like 2005 when I bought my first house. So actually, I've been in real estate since then. And for the most part, I started building up a portfolio of investment properties, started flipping, and ultimately I'm working with families now. So, for when it comes to real estate, I'm just extremely comfortable from having so much experience with it.
What part of Philly are you from?
South Philadelphia. I lived in
Okay.
South Philly and also out in Ben Sam when I wasn't in Philly.
Oh, I got you. Okay. What got you into real estate initially? Like, what attracted you to, getting into real estate?
The check of the agent when I bought my house. I didn't have any experience in real estate in 2005 when I bought my house in Jersey. I saw that check after closing, and I said, I can do that, or I want that check. So, ever since then, I got licensed and wanted to be a house flipper. Watching those house flipping shows. I wasn't working with families then. So, started out as a house flipper. Then worked on building up my portfolio. Now I'm focusing on just being a broker and helping families get into houses.
How much was the check?
Oh, the check. Oh,
Do you remember?
Well, it was a $300,000 house. So you mean it's
9,000 or something? Yeah.
It's enough. Look, I was like, yeah.
Okay. Why NACA?
Why NACA? Because I'm the underdog. And NACA is just promoting home ownership, making dreams come alive to those that you wouldn't have thought could be homeowners. And NACA is just teaching people good habits about budgets and working toward home ownership. And especially if you're credit challenged, NACA doesn't require a certain credit score.
Actually, let's start can you define NACA and what it is and who's it for and all that kind of stuff?
NACA's been around since 1988, and Bruce Marks is the CEO, and he's worked with other lenders to get great requirements to purchase a home. Right now, he's working with Bank of America, and Bank of America meets the guidelines of the NACA program. And so what happens is all the great benefits of NACA, the no money down and everything like that, is what a lender like Bank of America agrees to. So, this program is going to help people that typically may not have the savings, the challenge, because of the amount of assets that you normally would need to purchase a home. You won't need that with NACA.
Okay.
Is there an income requirement with NACA? Like, do you have to make a certain amount or do you have to be under a certain amount?
That's a good question. A lot of people think they make too much for NACA or there's no income requirement. There's different interest rates that you get based off of income and area where you purchase, but no, you can't make too much money for the NACA program.
The interest rate is affected by the area that you buy?
Potentially by the buyer and what that buyer's income is, because the whole goal is to promote home ownership in areas that need revitalization. So a person that may be one of NACA's statuses is called non-priority. It's priority and non-priority. A non-priority person would make typically more than the median income, so they may be purchasing in an area that may not need revitalization, whereas if that were the case, they would get the higher interest rate, which is more the market rate, around 7% as of today. And then 6% would go for somebody that makes less than the median income. They get that bonus for buying in an area that, would ultimately need revitalization.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that about that. Okay. Who's NACA for?
Everybody. I've had people with 6-figure salaries, 6-figure bank accounts use the NACA program because they're smart and know how to save money. And so it's for anyone. You want a fixed income? You can get a loan with NACA.
How does NACA benefit the 6-figure earner?
Well, that 6-figure earner, if they bought in an area that needs revitalization, the areas that NACA wants to help stabilize the communities, well, great. You're going to get a 6% interest rate, especially.
So you can get a lower interest rate, no down payment still?
Oh, yeah. Whether you got 6-figure bank account and 6-figure salary, you still no money down, no PMI, no closing costs. You get every benefit.
Are there any downsides?
I mean, sometimes when you're competing against someone that may close a little bit sooner, 30 days, there's 2 underwriting processes with NACA. So it may take a little bit longer, but, they've been pushing to have that 40-day average or so closer to the 30.
Yeah, because, was always my skepticism, especially in this market, is like a lot of sellers are not familiar with NACA, and therefore they're, even like a VA loan is hard to get accepted these days, because they'd rather take a conventional or they'd rather obviously cash. But what do you do in those situations where, what have been some of your strategies to mitigate that problem?
Well, basically when we're working with, other agents trying to get them to take a chance on the NACA program, we're trying to explain that competing against other offers, there's some benefits with the NACA program. When you look at somebody wants to buy a distressed property, if you're buying a distressed property, NACA gives you the money to fix it up. So a lot of people that are having trouble selling a house that needs a new septic tank and it's just sitting there, most people are trying to get the property for less, and I don't know how they're going to work it out their own pocket, get, a septic tank or whatever it takes to fix up the property. With NACA, you can make it work. You can try and add it to your loan. So that's one of the things that you should leverage when, speaking to a listing agent, to take your offer, because, and then also I'm going to tell you one thing. I've had some people, multiple offer environment, where they hear the mission of NACA and they just it feels good to accept that offer. You got these investors, cash, and other type of loan programs, but they're like, you know what? I like their mission, and I won one especially because of that. We want to work with your client.
So with NACA, is the inspection process a little harder? Like, why are some people optimistic about using the NACA program?
Well, first, since we're on that, I want to thank you, because you went with one of my offers and accepted it, and we successfully closed the deal. So that, is definitely appreciated, because you changed the life of someone by your seller and yourself being confident in the NACA process. And me, because I had to sell us on it and what I was going to bring to the table. But, ultimately for when it comes to, working with these NACA buyers, you need somebody to take a chance. So that's why I tried to tell them that, aside from the, have no money down, and there's no PMI. There's so much great reason to accept that NACA offer because they can roll the repairs into the loan and make it easier. One thing is credit and income are verified for a lot of these buyers. So a listing agent should feel comfortable knowing that you're not going to get surprised in a couple of weeks that during underwriting that, oh, this person didn't do such and such. So they've been through it. And I think that is one of the things that I like to lead in with so you don't get any surprises. And on top of that, sometimes people don't have enough money to close, right? Well, with a no money down product, no closing costs, things like that, I don't think bringing money to the table to close is going to be an issue. So there's two issues right there. Condition of the property, a lot of people worry about that. You could roll that into your NACA loan. You're talking about those inspections. Well, the inspections, getting around inspections, I think one of the benefits are, yes, NACA wants to make sure that it's not just on the seller to do the inspection. I mean to do the repair. If something negative comes up on the inspection, it necessarily is not on the seller. The buyer could use that in their loan as well. They could repair whatever this obstacle is in repair negotiations. So I don't want people to be scared to accept a NACA offer because they think that's a popular thing. Oh, I'm going to get this big list. Well, this big list isn't on just the seller to address. If a buyer has enough affordability and they go in expecting that, we can make it work.
Oh, so that would roll into the loan though, right? The amount of repairs.
Yeah, that can roll into the loan, so it's really not an issue.
So they don't have to pay out of pocket though.
Yeah, they wouldn't have to pay out of pocket.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense for that type of property.
Yeah, and speaking with family and friends and people in the community, one of the big barriers to home ownership is money, and the fact that NACA doesn't require any money down, I think, is a huge benefit. Needs to be talked about more. With that, is there any type of homes that are off limit when it comes to a NACA loan?
Oh,
that's a good question. Y'all got me on the spot with that one.
Well, you do have a profile of the type of property that you think will be successful usually, right?
Well, basically, to answer your question about any homes off limits, there really isn't a home that would be off limits unless someone's income did that. And what I mean is, if someone makes more than the median income, they may be limited more than someone that makes less than it. So a home that, and a perfect situation would be a person that makes more than the median income and also wants to purchase in a house that's not in a revitalization zone. That may be off limits for a person that's what quote unquote non-priority, their status. So someone could get in a situation like that. And that, it's against the NACA's mission when you think about it. Mm-hmm. We're going outside of the areas that need revitalization. So that's why you would be in that situation.
All right. So let's go back a little bit. I'm a buyer thinking about NACA. What is the process? Like, what do I do first?
Well, I would say it starts with motivation. Somebody's got to be motivated because you got work ahead. And if you're going to put in the work, then you're going to get all the way to home ownership. So the first step would be, naturally, you go to NACA.com and you sign up for an upcoming workshop. You need to get the information. Workshops like 4 hours, okay? They are in person throughout the region wherever anybody lives, or they have now a self-paced option. So if you can't get off work on a Saturday and sit at one of our workshops for 4 hours, they have the self-paced option. So once you successfully have done that, you have what they call a NACA ID. You have the NACA ID, which allows you now to access the NACA member portal and start uploading your documents. That's what people have to start doing, uploading documents, tax returns, pay stubs, bank statements, things like that, so you can see a counselor and get a budget created. Okay? But the problem is, and I got to tell everybody out there, don't check out. Once you went to the workshop, so many people go to that workshop and they counsel themselves and they say, oh, I don't have enough money, or I don't got my taxes filed, whatever it is. You went to the workshop in May. By June, you should have everything uploaded. But you're sitting there July, August. You're like, oh, I didn't do my taxes. It just gets longer. So I tell everybody, get as much stuff as you can in so you can get to the point to see a counselor. Because you're prolonging the process by trying to say, oh, I don't have this or that. and nothing but time passes. So let's get to the point where you can see a counselor, because the counselor is going to tell you what's in your budget. And this is where so many people appreciate the process, because even after they close, they sat with a counselor, understand their budget, they start working on their savings. People that have closed on houses are so appreciative of the budget that they were on, because some stuff happened after they bought their house and they had the savings. So working on that budget with the counselor leads you to qualification. That's the whole goal.
So trust the process like the Sixers.
Trust the process.
You know, and what's really special about this program, a lot of lenders, they just require documents, financial documents, this, that, and the third. But the fact that the NACA program offers counseling to help you budget, I think really speaks to helping people not just get a home, but stay in a home, right? A lot of lenders are just really focused on selling loan packages and trying to, move that money. But the fact that, you're creating products and you're creating home ownerships and people that are budgeting, I think is really, really beneficial in the long term of home ownership. And that's really cool.
Yes, it's a program. It's you can't do it alone. You need someone to guide you, not just join the program, but getting someone like myself that's a advocate and an agent for you, an advocate to get you through the program, and an agent to help you understand what your budget is in relation to the market now. So that way you hit the ground running when you get qualified, because, okay, you're qualified for $1,900 a month in the program. Let's see what $1,900 a month of house looks like. And if you get that preview, be like, I'm not feeling $1,900 a month in the area I want. What can I do to be at $2,300? They'll teach you, pay this off or do this savings to show that, we can get you there. That's the best way to approach it, because a lot of people will just go through the process, see what the budget is, and surprise, once you get qualified, you realize, I got to go back and get more money.
Right. But I do want to point out to the people that at a lower interest rate, if you're giving a discount on 1% interest rate and no down payment, that $900 a month could be a little bit more than if they got a conventional loan at $1,900 a month, because the rate you can buy more of a house that way.
Oh, yeah. In comparison to other lenders, when you think about it, your rate's about 1% better. So already you're saving money. Also, when you think about the fact that you don't have any PMI, you don't have PMI, so you're saving money there. So in comparison, just imagine if you weren't in the NACA program and you're upset about, let's say, $1,900 where you want to live. That $1,900 is really going to be different with another lender.
Right. And just
Much
so
less.
people understand, basically you can pay significantly more in purchase price and still have the same payment as someone on another loan, because they're at a higher rate, and there's mortgage insurance, which could be $50, $100 a month on top, which could be $10, $20, $30,000 difference in the purchase price. So that's something definitely to think about, because it's not an apples to apples comparison. If you're $1,900 a month here versus there is a big difference.
What's the typical / average amount of time from start to qualification that people are usually looking at?
All right.
For the motivated people, right?
All right, for the motivated people.
Not the people that fall off.
Well, it could vary on the availability of counselors in the region. So let's just say you go to a workshop, max, 60 to 90 days. Maybe you could see somebody sooner. Well, just be prepared for that appointment in the next 90 days. So this way you can get instantly qualified after meeting. That'd be great. Otherwise, they're going to put you on an action plan. And that action plan would maybe be a 90-day action plan. So you're at like half a year and you successfully complete your action plan, then you could get qualified. But, one thing, I feel like everybody, it's what you put into it. How quick your journey is, with the program. And those that are motivated can really get through it and push and do it the right way.
And I think this is another point for people, and I've always been advocating for this, is the fact that planning will help you have a better situation. So if you're thinking, I want to buy a house, even if it's a year out, now you can not be pressed for time and go through the program and do whatever needs to get done. And maybe you find out you don't qualify for enough money. And now you have time to work towards getting to where you need to go. And with the counselors and everything, you will have the information to be able to actually know what you should do, because people make the mistake of thinking that they know, and finance and being able to qualify is not common sense. So let them tell you, strategize, and you'll end up in a better situation. So, for example, someone thinking about buying a house next year, if you get into the program now, they'll be way set and ready to go, by the time that it comes, even if they sign a lease today, now they have a whole year to figure out, what they're going to do in the future.
I had one thing I wanted to add to Miranda's question too, and that is, I explained how long it takes, initially, but once you get qualified, that varies too. But once you're under contract, it could be, 40 days on average, probably to close. And if you're rolling more repairs into your loan, that might be 45 to 60. But I definitely need Miranda to co-sign, look in the camera, and say that you closed on time with NACA.
Yeah, we did close on time. And I was a skeptic. I was like asking him all these questions when he called me and he made the offer. I was really a skeptic. I'm like, are you able to close on time? Will this deal go through? I was doing weekly check-ins with him, but the deal did go through.
I need a soundbite for my own social media. I need you to look in the camera and say, I close on time with Jerome in the NACA program.
I closed on time with Jerome in the NACA program.
Oh, I'm going to use that so much.
What did I say when you asked me about NACA?
He told me not to do it.
Stay away
Straight
from
up.
it, huh?
Not to do it.
And I was shocked and amazed. What sold us, though, and this goes back to the presentation, you had told Miranda you had closed like hundreds of NACA deals. I said, how is that even possible?
Absolutely.
And so clearly, if you have an agent that knows what they're doing with NACA, which maybe you can speak to a little bit, because I know there's like training programs for agents and stuff like that. I really think that's important with anything, guys, is having the right professionals that really know the niche that they're in, regardless of what it is. It's super important to have the right advocates, because not everybody does everything.
Yeah, that's my market. Let me tell y'all something. If you've done something over 200 times, you better be good at it. So definitely closing NACA over 200 times has helped me really fine-tune the process, so that way everything can go smooth. It's a proactive process, not reactive. And that really helps people get through it if you're working with someone that has done it before. So that's really helpful.
And for the realtors that have someone that has a NACA, that wants to get into the NACA program or has a NACA approval and they come to you, what do you suggest for them?
For a realtor that...
Refer to Jerome.
Yeah.
Basically, right?
NACA is hard with agents. Like, it is not normal, because I had one and I had like a temporary ID and all that stuff, but I didn't understand the double underwriting process. I didn't understand the hand department. In hindsight, I'm like, we kind of messed this up. And had I known how all the system worked, we probably could have finessed it, because it was a multifamily deal. It needed a whole bunch of rehab. She did a whole bunch of due diligence that she spent money on, and we ended up not being able to close. Honestly, I can't even remember the reason, because it was years ago. But that's where my negative, attitude came towards it. But I think it's a lack of information, to be honest. I feel like NACA is pretty flexible from everything that you've been explaining, and from our experience with you, that, I think it just comes down to agent information.
Did you take the NACA training course when you had this client, or no?
I might have clicked the buttons. But no, I want to take it now, actually. We have been talking to you about it. I think people need to get educated on it. And that's why I think the responsible thing is, if you don't know as an agent the loan programs that your client is using, you should refer it to someone that does. So that's why I was joking, but I'm kind of serious. Like, I think you should handle it if the agent doesn't know it, because you're going to get it closed.
I got an option for everybody that's not out there working with Jerome knowing the home. Okay. What you can do is, if you are loyal to a cousin, friend, uncle, somebody that's licensed, and you want to go through the NACA program, I'm one of the hosts of our training on Tuesdays from 12 to 2. You can get information for the agent. The agent can log into our webinar and get information. We give you a quick 2-hour crash course on the process, but you can take it as many times as you want and go through the process, and help someone. So it's good if you're, around someone that's done it before, but everybody gets their first shot. I mean, even mine, but my first one was amazing. I'll tell you all that right now. My buyer closed at 0.5 interest rate.
That's crazy.
And this, this 5-6 years ago when the
back
rates
in the
were
day.
better, but
Yeah,
0.5 interest rate. Come on.
That's impossible. That's
Back
crazy.
in the day.
Back in the day. Yeah, I can't live in back in the day now. We're talking about now.
Yeah, right.
Does the training cost? Like, do the realtors have to pay for the training?
It's free, and it's not a certification. A lot of people think once they take the class, they're NACA certified. There's no certification, but you need to be as familiar with the process as possible, all aspects of it, the different departments that can help you, and the more familiar you are, that's why I'm so comfortable and confident, because, yes, I know what to expect. Yes, I'm comfortable with the information. You're trusted with someone's biggest purchase of their life. They're not putting down a little bit of money to get into deals, 5,000, 10,000, 20. It varies everywhere. So you want to make sure that deal goes well and you protect somebody's earnest money and see it all the way through to closing.
How would an agent access this training?
You go to NACA.com, and on live webinars, it says read introduction. So all you got to do is go to NACA.com, and you'll see the webinars, and take all the webinars. There's so many of them that the more familiar you are, the more you can help. Yes, it's a niche, niche market. Someone that understands that can lead you to home ownership. If you have options, just choose someone that's done it before.
I agree. We didn't talk about the hand program, and that has to do with the inspections and all that. So,
yes,
give some more insight on that.
The hand program. Let me tell you something. People really need to understand this benefit, because that's how you can protect yourself when you purchase a home, and they're protecting you because they're reviewing the home inspection report. And a lot of times, listing agents get nervous about that. Say, "Whoa, they're reviewing the report. Why has the lender got to review the report?" The whole goal is, just like when you buy a used car, you don't want to buy a lemon. They're making sure the house is not a lemon. So anything negative on that inspection report, they're going to look at and then say, okay, we don't care whether you fix it or the seller, but someone needs to address these items that are a concern on the report. So that's why, as long as somebody goes in with a plan, if you go in to buy a house with no plan and you just cross your fingers and hope the inspection report's good, that's not the way to get through it. Because just in case something negative happens, you need something to counter that. Can you absorb it in your loan? And that's where you use the HAND department. The HAND stands for Home and Neighborhood Development. HAND department will allow you to use some of these NACA qualified contractors that understand the program and roll repairs into the loan that may have probably killed the deal because the seller don't want to fix it. If the seller don't want to fix something, you can have the HAND department help create a budget for you. But here's the thing. There's a lot of investors that do houses, flip them real nice, but they don't change like the HVAC system. What are you going to do? You're going to buy this pretty house with an old system? Why not use the NACA program? Roll $7,000 into your loan if you can absorb it, and have a new system installed after you close. That's what the HAND department's for, to help you.
How does the timing of that stuff work? Okay, so is that post-close, so after you close?
Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of people think you got to get all this done before you close the deal. All you need to do is get your quotes, gather them, let that budget be put together, and then address everything after closing.
So
that's how.
Kind of like 203K.
Yes.
Who handles the money?
Well,
right? Because if the money's in your loan, who pays who? How does that whole thing work?
Well, it's set aside, escrow for your loan, and then as you use it, it starts getting applied to your loan.
So it's paid after. Do they inspect the property, to make sure the work is done and stuff like that?
Yes. So, you have that money set aside, you get some work done, and then there's draws and inspections. You get those draws and inspections.
Does the contractor have to front the money to start the project?
Well, that, I would double check with the hand department
Okay.
which way they're going to do that. But potentially, if someone wants to get through it, naturally you need materials and you got labor. So,
That's
maybe,
what I was saying. Do they
you know.
release some money up front? Because I've done the conventional version of the 203K loan, and that's a challenge for contractors is they need some startup, and sometimes they don't give you startup money. So it's like they got to front. They got to either do the work first and then get paid. It's a little difficult sometimes with contractors.
If you want to work with somebody, make sure you're working with somebody that could potentially start it. If you waiting on that check, we already starting behind.
Yeah, for sure.
In regards to like the inspections and constructions and things like that, does NACA require any type of certification from the contractors? Like, do you have to work with a certain type of contractor, or anyone will do it?
Well, they want to make sure people are insured, and you give all your proper documentation to the hand department, and they'll review it and give that stamp of approval, and make sure that you can get through it.
Okay. I just, contractors aren't great with paperwork, even if they have it, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not that good with computers sometimes. They're like, or at least, the cheaper people. Sometimes you want to use the cheaper people. I don't know.
They better have the startup money.
Yeah, they're going to have it. Okay. So there you go, though. So you need a real legit contractor, your uncle, cousin. Even if they're a contractor, it might be difficult then.
The lowest price is not always the best price.
Big facts. You can only get 2 of 3 things: good price and customer service. You cannot get all 3. You can only get 2 of those. So.
I'm trying to put myself in the mindset of a buyer or someone wants to buy a home, and I'm having trouble finding obstacles and reasons why I shouldn't do this program. And you've done over 200 transactions. Can you talk about any situation where there was major obstacle that your buyer client had, and how did you overcome that?
I would say nearly some things are self-inflicted. Meaning the whole purpose of the NACA program is they get you qualified. You work to get qualified. So that means you do everything that it took to get you to qualification, all the way through to when you get the keys. So a lot of times people don't do that. I'm going to leave my job. I'm under contract, but I'm leaving my job right now. I'm going on leave. You're under contract.
They pull up to the showing in a new car.
Oh yeah, I have that.
I have to protect my mental health. I quit my job.
It's self-inflicted. Let me tell everybody something in the camera. NACA will never say no. They say not now or yes, but never no. So basically, that's why you get those action plans. But yeah, it starts with you and your behavior and what you've done, and making sure all your affairs in order, your documentation, your taxes. But a lot of it is self-inflicted for sure, because it's character-based lending. So they want to know that you're paying your landlord on time. So if you're not paying your landlord on time, that's not helping you any. So there's things that start to clock over when you don't do something on time. You got to show 12 months of that. So what if you did 3 months and then all of a sudden you've been good after you were bad, and then now you got to start the clock all over again. So I just strongly encourage everybody, don't hurt yourself.
And just to be clear, the documentation and everything the NACA is requiring is not outside the norm of what any other lender would ask for, right?
That's very good. Yes. It's nothing out the norm. You just need to have everything in order and be motivated.
Well, they want, if you're renting, right? Like they're going to want to know that you've been paying. So, a normal lender doesn't ask for that. Right?
Yeah, that's separate from another program because you need some way to show that there's good character.
Right.
So that's why, they want to know that.
Did we talk about credit?
Nope, because credit's not a factor.
Can you say that again?
Credit's not a factor. It's at all. So, but don't be the person that owes everybody, okay? Judgments, lien. Everybody's like, yo, I got a judgment, I got a lien, I can still get a... No, So you can't owe anybody.
Gotcha. Yeah. I always tell people, there's a reason why the credit's bad. You got to pay your bills. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean,
But there are like medical debt. There are things that can bring your credit, student loan debt, where you just don't have a lot of credit that could bring your score down without you owing a lot of people. So that's true, though.
yeah, there's different factors, but at the end of the day, they're helping people that are just showing that they pay people on time
Right.
and giving them a chance, and not based off of FICO score and all these other factors. You know,
Yeah. So credit's not a factor.
not a factor.
I know that's appealing to a lot of people.
Yes, so don't start defaulting on your charge cards or anything like that. Say, don't give me a NACA loan.
you
I'm
know,
not paying Visa.
I would interpret it as more common sense lending, right? Like it's more of a common sense approach. Like, oh, well, you're paying your bills. If you can afford these bills and you've been paying these bills for a year, then why can't you afford the mortgage that's the same bill? Like, but if you go to a traditional lender, that's not how that works, right? Like, you could be paying $2,400 a month in rent, and you could only qualify for $1,800 a month, depending on debt to income ratio and stuff like that. So, I mean, NACA seems more common sense than the traditional mortgage, because a lot of people come to me and say, "Hey, I'm able to afford this, and I have money in the bank," and they still don't qualify sometimes because it's based off of different metrics. It's not a common sense approach.
Hey, when you think about it, the best thing about the NACA program is I've never heard somebody say, I can't buy a home because I don't have the money.
That's big, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's not the issue.
mm.
You got to have something to buy a house. Okay? You got to put down the Earnest money deposit. Okay? Just don't come broke. You gotta have money to drop for your Earnest money deposit, and things like that.
And I'm glad you said that, because you speak about the no money down, and people hear that, they think, oh, I don't need any money down.
Mm-hmm.
I can just show up at the signing table, sign with the keys. Could you talk a little bit more about the Earnest money deposit?
Yeah, let me tell y'all something. I got buyers leaving with checks. A lot of times, your Earnest money deposit is greater than the amount that's needed to do the deal. And that happens a lot of times, especially when it's under $5,000 for me in a lot of areas. Buyers are leaving with checks, because what people need to understand is the only thing you're responsible for are your homeowner's insurance premiums for the year, your taxes that are due, and it varies from county to county what your taxes are, and you pay out of pocket before closing for your inspections. That's it. So if you're buying in an urban area, Philadelphia, somewhere like that, $3,000 might do it for you. That's it.
That's less than security deposits that I've been collecting.
Mm-hmm.
So you need a little bit of money, but that $5,000 you put down in Earnest money, you might get some money back.
Yeah. Love it. Is there anything else? You guys have any?
No.
I did
What do you
ha-
have to say to the skeptics out there? And when they see that NACA pre-approval, they're like, yeah, no.
Yes. All right. I'm talking to all the skeptics out there right now. If you, want to do a good thing and change somebody's life, take that NACA offer, regardless of the terms and everything, just the feel-good part of it. But understand one thing. Once you get beyond the feel-good part, you have to understand that person has a strong approval. Credit and income have been verified. You're not going to get surprised that, basically when it comes to working with somebody that's experienced, regardless of what you heard or experienced before, there are people now that are closing these regularly. And just like Miranda gave me a chance, she heard my whole spiel and took it and ran with it. But you can take it to the bank if Jerome Washington is giving you an offer with the NACA program. And also to the skeptics of the buyers. A lot of the buyers feel like, the people that say the most negative things are the ones that haven't closed, are the ones that haven't progressed. So I feel like a lot of people have to just be more open-minded and try and put into action whatever you are counseled on, that action plan, and you can get through to home ownership. So skeptics go with the listing agent as well as the buyer themselves.
G?
Yeah. Last question. The NACA program, is it state specific, or like if I live in Des Moines, Iowa, would I be able to access a NACA loan?
Yeah, you could get qualified in New Jersey and buy in Pennsylvania. So you can buy anywhere in the United States. So it doesn't matter where you qualify. But ultimately, they want you a decent commute to work if you're a work commute. But if you're remote, you can buy anywhere and just go there.
Oh, last thing didn't cover multifamilies, commercial, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's big. A lot of people want to be landlords. So you have to live in the property. You have to be an owner occupant. And that goes for any NACA property. You got to have the savings, though, because what if something fails? What if you have vacancies? So they have requirements. For a 2-unit building, you need 4 months of reserves saved to get qualified. A 3-unit building, 5 months. And a 4-unit building, 6 months of reserves. Also, NACA now has a landlord training course. Before, you could go to some other vendor and get one, but NACA has an option for you to get the landlord training course. So you're prepped to be a landlord. And now as you go through the process, all you need to do is find something that works for your affordability, and the rents also can go towards your affordability to help. That's why a lot of people that can't afford a house on their own go multifamily, because you can put toward what your contribution is, take 75% of each unit's rent, and that goes toward the mortgage too. And that increases your affordability. If you can't get, say, a co-buyer, go multi.
Bam. Yeah, I love multifamily.
Yeah.
Anything else that you want to tell the people? I think we covered a lot of good stuff.
Look, we could go on a whole nother
Yeah.
show with this, because there's so much information to give to everybody. But I just want to make sure that people understand, if you're buying in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, or Delaware, work with Jerome to own a home. Go to NACADreamTeam.com, sign up, get yourself an agent and an advocate. Let's start the home ownership journey. So I just want to make sure that people know, that I am a resource that's available to them to get them on home ownership. But I can't do it alone. I have my NACA Dream Team. So throughout the region, I'm mentoring agents, and we're closing deals throughout the region, under my leadership as well.
Nice. Did anyone get confused because we oddly look very similar?
Yes, I think that's funny. So everybody understands. We got like these cameras over here,
We're
and
not
I
related.
look up. I don't even know if it's me. I only can.
We're not related at all.
We're not-
We just met
Yes.
a couple months ago. So
Yeah.
You might want to
It's
do
funny.
a 23andMe or something.
It is
Just a
eerie.
relative.
that
It
is
is eerie.
Yeah, switch
So
the cat.
Yeah, just do the camera now. I don't know, how long have you been bald? So I've been bald. I had hair before I got into real estate, just so everybody understands. So
Dang.
real estate, it ain't for everybody. It's hard work. So
I got bad.
did you have
genes.
hair before you started?
No, I was in the military.
You was in the military.
Army.
Okay.
Lost everything real fast. My hair started going at like 23.
That's the same thing.
They
Same
gave me
thing
the
there.
Beijing and a spray. I was like, what is that? I didn't even know what it was. So, yeah. But Ardhi Real Estate Podcast. See you guys.